Hello, I'm Dejan Kosutic and welcome to Cyber and AI Perspective. Today I'll speak about which one is more important, security or compliance, and if this is perhaps a wrong question to ask. And you probably think, of course, security is more important than compliance. Ultimately, everything comes down to reducing security incidents or protecting the confidentiality, integrity and availability of the data. That's what's the most important. But if you're watching or listening to this podcast, then you're probably a cybersecurity professional, which means that you are naturally inclined towards security. But if I ask the same question to senior management, they probably wouldn't put such an emphasis on security. They might say that security and compliance are kind of equally important. And if I ask this question to a legal counsel or a compliance officer, well, this one is predictable, they would probably emphasize compliance. Now, you might think that people who prefer compliance just don't get it, but it's not that simple. You can't simply neglect legal advisors, let alone your executives. So, where does this leave us? Even though many security professionals do not like compliance, let me give you some clues on how compliance can actually help you. It can serve as a booster, as a baseline, and as a business case. So, 3 Bs to make it easier to remember. What do I mean by booster? This is when you can't get your cybersecurity budget approved for years, but when cyber becomes obligatory because of some new regulation, then suddenly everything gets approved. Or a potential client requires you to get a new security certificate, and then cybersecurity becomes much more important. Security standards provide a very good baseline, this is the second B, for security. There are numerous standards out there, ranging from management standards like ISO 27001 all the way to technical standards that specify the use of a particular security technologies. In other words, these standards give you a useful starting point for almost anything related to security. And finally, ROI on security is notoriously hard to measure, and that makes it hard to build a business case, the third B, for the board. But when you show to your executives that by complying to a particular regulation you avoided penalties, and by implementing standards you reduce liability and even, as I mentioned, increase revenue, then you start finding a language that senior management understands. So to conclude, I do think that ultimately security is more important, but viewing security as something opposed to compliance is wrong. Instead, I think these two have a different role. Compliance should be viewed as an enabler, whereas security should be viewed as an ultimate goal. So the question of whether security or compliance is more important is the wrong one. The right question is, are you using compliance to support your security? If today's topic got you interested, there is a free report worth reading called Compliance and Information Security, How Are They Related, on Advisera.com. It's based on a survey of over 600 professionals and adds some real data to what I talked about today. And link is in the show notes. This was Cyber and AI Perspectives with Dejan Kosutic. Talk to you in 2 weeks' time.